Oh. Testing, testing. Okay, we should be good. Should be good to go. Hey guys, welcome. Hopefully I'm being heard clearly. You guys hear me, right? I think, yeah, my audio is working, so hopefully you guys are hearing me clearly enough. Alright, sorry we didn't have no cam today, guys. It's an off day for me. Your boy not feeling too wholesome right now, so but we're just gonna get right into it, right? So trade setups that we can look forward to actually for this for today, this morning on GJ. On the pound, I am looking for a buy setup on this GJ in particularly. I'm looking to possibly buy right here being the entry point. But if we can see price actually close bullishly on this candle here, we should see a bullish continuation moving upwards all the way up until we have the GBP interest rate decision, expecting interest rates to raise by 0.5, right? So you can see here we have the GBP interest rate decision, expecting an increase from 3.5% to 4% here. And we have some other news as well too, right? So you have MPC meeting minutes. We have the BOE monetary policy report, which would go into either helping this interest rate decision out by pushing price to the upside, or we may see a reversal in price depending on what this report reads. Besides that, we also have the ECB interest rate decision, so we could possibly get a trade on the euro as well. Again, looking for buy positions as we have in an increase by that 50 base point increase, right? So that is something that we could look forward to actually see a potential gain or trade out of. So that is something else that I'm looking towards as well. So those are the possible trade setups right now for me this year. Want to see price actually reverse, see that bullish push above this level. At that point, we're just going to hold for continuations all the way up to here, which is the next targeted sort of resistance zone that we're looking at, right? So you can see here, and let me just draw this up so you can see that this was the area as price was coming down. We formed the support right here, had a bullish rejection, price pulled up, failed to continue with that bullish move, created these rejection wicks. So this is why we mark this as a spot of resistance, because we had that push below and now we had rejection from this area, right? Forming this sort of zone that we now seeing here. Price pulled back, pulled up again, rejection, and continue pushing downwards, right? We got a trade out of this over here, and now we're at this level where price has formed sort of a support. If we take a look here on the 4-hour, we can see that these candles are just sort of ranging right now, right? Looking for a decision to be made with that bullish movement that we could expect. The catalyst being the interest rate decision from the BOE, right? So that is something we could look forward to. The ECB news, I am looking for buys in terms of this, more so in particularly on something such as probably the Euro AED, right? This is a trade that I've been eyeing for a while. We actually achieved some profit right around here. Then we had a rejection. This was at interest rate decision for the US dollar, where price pulled back, and now we sort of just ranging in this zone, right? I'm expecting for this decision to actually cause price to move bullishly here. So we may see a full target actually hit at this point. I do have a small position open here around 1.5%, just waiting to see what price does on this particular trade here. But same thing, same levels. If you want to, from last stream, this was the buy stop areas that we had. You could take that same position again, looking for price to go all the way to TP, or maybe even right around here at this resistance zone, right? So these are some areas you'll have to pay attention to, but we could actually see price pull towards these areas here. Right, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Or you hear me clearly, thank you, let me know, I really do appreciate it. All right, besides that stuff that we could also see here on the Euro USD, we had a very strong bullish move here, right? after we had the Fed interest rate decision with price increasing for the interest rates, right? We saw this reversal on the US dollar because we had an initial push down, but we failed to continue back of that Fed committee meeting where we had Jerome Powell speaking. So markets took that what was said, right, and ran with it, and we saw like a bearish movement from the dollar, right? So we saw price actually flip and continue even higher against the US dollar. So if we take a look at the DXY, we can see that price fall very sharply to the downside. Alright, we can see that this has been sort of a trend continuing on. The dollar has just been plummeting quite it's been plummeting quite significantly, right? So we're continuing this fall in the dollar right now, even though inflation is going down. Still there's some concerns rounding around inflation and increasing interest rates too quickly that may have sort of a backlash on the US economy. So that all of that is playing a part in why we're seeing the US dollar actually being so weak, despite the good numbers that we had with the interest rate increasing, as well as the labor market, unemployment being at a low, right? Employment steady as well, and the labor market force doing good as well. So we're seeing still a negative move on the dollar despite some good fundamental factors, right? So that's just something that you should pay attention to. Moving forward, I want to be long on the dollar, right? But for now, I would say it's sort of a risky move to hedge bets with the dollar right now, because we're seeing such a bearish movement on the dollar. We could get moves based on retracement trades. However, long lasting, we may see that dollar fall continue until markets decide, okay, at this point things are looking kind of up. Investors saying, okay, maybe we could just start investing more into the US dollar instead of continuously selling it off. So as we see the US dollar actually sell, we're seeing stuff like indices actually perform well, gold performing well as very well too, and the indices closing very high of yesterday and so far for the year. Right, but moving forward, a trade I do have here is one on AD USD. I'm actually looking to see price fall a little bit here, maybe sort of a retracement, but just because risk sentiment itself is not, it hasn't improved, right? So therefore I think that risk sentiment hasn't improved yet, right? Weighs more heavily than the US dollar weakness that we are seeing, because it's sort of a weakness out of fear, right? So I think in terms of the fundamentals, that risk sentiment not lasting holds more weight than the sort of fears that we're seeing on the US dollar right now. So this year, I do have a trade currently open on AD USD. I took it right around here. This is an open stop trade. Just looking to see if price could even, just pull past this area here. And I want to see a correction of this candle move. If we could get somewhere to halfway across, halfway by TP, then that'll be something I'm comfortable taking my positions off of. Alright, but for now, I'm confident that this may see a reversal coming back down. Don't really have any fundamental reasoning as to why not to see that. So this is a trade I'm also waiting to see how it plays out. Alright guys, so yeah, that's about it, what we have happening right now in today's market so far. We also have NFP coming up Friday, so something that we could pay attention to as well. So tomorrow we have NFP, and we'll see how that affects the US dollar. We could actually take a look. What are the numbers expected for NFP? Right, so NFP we're expecting lower numbers here. So this is something I wanted to actually I'd like to pay attention to see what actually happens here. Because if the numbers does come out as low as expected, then we'll see the weakness on the US dollar continue. However, if you see numbers perform a lot better than this, even if it's not as good as the previous, this would actually help boost the dollar a little bit, right? So on the day we could see the dollar actually pick up some steam and possibly reverse on those losses that we saw earlier on this week, right? So that is something we could pay attention to possibly see happening for tomorrow and then ending the trading week. Alright guys, so as for now, I'm just gonna wait. We'll see what price decides to do here on this JPY trade. Entry is right here. This will be the entry level. Let me just move this. So this will be the entry level. Looking for that GP interest rate decision to actually help push price a little bit. And we also have the BOE monetary policy statement, monetary policy report, sorry, right? So we'll see how price reacts given those two news events that we have coming out, right? Those are the most two impactful news events that we have coming up. And yeah, we're just gonna leave this, see how this candle closes and what it does on market opening. If we are able to actually push past above these areas here, then we should see a continuation higher, right? There's more of a probability to see that continuation higher rather than a reversal on price on the whole. Alright, so that's just something that we could pay attention to. If price does manage to push down here, right, push lower, then I'll just accept that, being that we get no trade today. We'll just look to see what sort of trade idea we can possibly get coming closer to that BOE interest rate decision, right? Whether price is going to reverse higher and move to the upside, or if we're just gonna see a sell continuation lower, right? But as for now, with the US dollar being weakened, that's why we're seeing the JPY actually pick up some steam right now, the yen being stronger against the yen cross pairs because of that US dollar weakness. But because we have the interest rate decisions, if this is to rise higher, then the GBP across the board would rise higher, right? So in terms of possible GBP setups, I would say, right, more rather so this trading GBP USD would give you a better yield rather than the GBP JPY, right? Just because the yen itself is strong off of that US dollar weakness, right? So you have one strong currency, which is the yen, compared with the GBP, right? So you have two strong currencies. When the interest rate decision does come out, that GBP strength is going to be reflected across all currency pairs with the GBP in it. So with that being said, it's gonna have like a tug of war between the two currencies, right? Price will pull up, however, because that fundamentally the yen is strong off of that USD weakness, right? We may not get that much of a movement out of this compared to if we trade something that's already weak here, which is the US dollar and the pound, right? So the US dollar being the weaker one, the pound being stronger because of the interest rate decisions, then this should continue pushing up, right? We should see this actually clear some levels, maybe push all the way up to this high or past that, right? So actually looking at this right now, this could be another trading scenario you want to get into. Right, I think this has the potential to be a trade here. Right, the reason why I'm taking it at this point is because one, right, if we actually see price reverse here and push higher, then more than likely we're going to see a continuation moving up, right? Rather than taking price taking an entry right around here in this zone, we still have this resistance to worry about, and we also have the fear of price actually pushing lower, right? So just to be on the safe side, we'll want to enter somewhere right around here. If we get a bullish close above, that gives us more of a signal that okay, buyers are still in control. We could expect to see some steam picking up and price actually push higher, right? So this would be the trade idea for me. If I'm entering on GBP/USD, I want to enter somewhere right around here, paying a buy stop, looking for price to actually push higher, right? So that is the trade. Alright guys, so I think that's it, right? We don't have much going on right now. After yesterday's news, markets have kind of started ranging, consolidating, and we have a lot of big impactful news, right? So we're gonna see price pushing back and forth in between these news events. More so during these news events, we're gonna see that big movement and then some consolidation until the next one, right? So GBP, big movements, consolidations, the euro, big movement, then consolidate, We might see price move in one direction a little bit more, maybe start ranging, and then tomorrow during the NFP statement, we'll see how the US dollar reacts, if we actually get any profits off of that as well. So far this week has been pretty good for everyone within the VIP. Those have been trading, some haven't been trading, they've been, you know, taking it easy. But yeah, so far things have been good, and yeah, we're just gonna continue moving on. Already up over 10% for the month, sorry, for the week. So we're just gonna continue moving on, doing the same exact thing that we've been doing, and yeah, just continue along trading. All right, so you see prices pulling back here, right? So prices doing this little pullback weirdness here as we're coming to, you know, 13 minutes to the candle close and GBP market open. All right, let me just pull up this. All right, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Right, no problem, no problem. All right, thank you for joining in, really do appreciate it. Please feel free, you know, leave a like on the stream, really helps out the channel. Really want to grow this channel more. We dwindle, we kind of in an area where, you know, things are, with 79 subscribers, it's cool. I'm not rushing the process or anything, but I like to grow the channel, guys, in the most organic way possible. Right, as you guys can see, I don't really post anything with like my $100 a day EMA strategy, anything like that, making 10,000 a week or anything like that. No, because I really want to be real with you guys. So with that being said, is really about posting valuable content, which you get during, you know, through the live streams itself, right? So yeah, so price came down here, right? And we're just gonna wait until, you know, we see it actually trigger above this area, right? So one thing that could possibly happen, and I'm not gonna deny the fact that, you know, it can't happen, right, is that price actually pulls lower here, and then as markets open, we just get a continuation movement downwards, right? So, you know, filling out this sort of range environment here. Now, the reason why I'm not going to enter for a possible trade setup like that, even though it's like, you know, you just move with momentum, is a probable trade idea and a trade setup, and because overall, I want to go where the fundamentals are going as well, right? We have the interest rates increasing, which should be good for the pound. Again, something to pay attention to is this yen trend is based off of USD weakness, all right? So that's why we're seeing the yen actually performing a lot better rather than, you know, the pound actually taking off right now. So with that being said, we just have to practice some patience, waiting to see everything align for us, which is why I would look to enter the trade right above this area here, right? Taking that possible entry for price to continue moving up. So if we actually pull all the way down, I'm just gonna leave it, right, and just wait until we come closer to the interest rate decisions and see if we could get that buy set up during then. And if not, we just come out with an L for the day, right? I have like 2 or 3 trades remaining in me, so we'll see how it pans out, right? Well, this is the thing about trading during this time, right? We need to be aware of the momentum where price is moving currently on the technical side, as well as the fundamentals where price should be moving based on the fundamental factors that we have affected it, right? So we need to be aware of those two things. Now, momentum is something that could come before the actual fundamentals, right? Not to say that it's wrong to trade momentum or anything like that, but me in particular, I just want to be on the right side of the trade, which is the fundamentals aligning with the technicals, or at least looking at areas where the technicals can align with the fundamentals, right? So yeah, that's just like my 2 cents on the entire thing, right? Because we could get into this to trade for momentum as price, you know, pulled down. We had this wick right here, right? We have multiple wicks from here. Price came down strongly. We could have called this a sort of a resistance zone, a pullback, and now we're looking for price to continue down, full out this range here, right? That is a possibility. You could do analysis like that, but for me, I'm just wanna, you know, I want to keep it as simple as possible. And momentum trading, while I do it, in a situation like this where we have some fundamental factors coming into play, I think it's best to be keenly aware of that, we have this coming out. So we need to be aware of that when taking trades such as this, because they become more riskier, so to speak, right? So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. If any particular PA you want to take a look at, let me know and we could take a look at it. But yeah, so you see this pull back a little bit here, and see if we wanted to, right, if we were just being preemptive, we'll enter the trade here, get stopped out immediately, instead of looking for levels of significance where you could actually see price, have some sort of interaction with, and then see that movement. All right, taking a look at the XPX 500. This index, as well as US 30, you see the two actually moved up after that switch on the US dollar. We were able to profit off of this here, right? I think around like 2% or something like that, right? Because initially, before that, we got an L and then price came back down, but we got that re-entry, and then we had a push below here, right? So around like 2.5%, I think, is where we took profits, recovered from the L, and gets a little bit of gains, and then we had this really strong reverse on price, right? Going forward, I do think that we could see this pull back down. However, I don't want to be too hastily with it, right? I don't want to tell you guys, yeah, for sure it's going to pull back down, because that's not a guarantee. And right now, with that US dollar weakness, I would say in terms of the indices, it's harder to say, right? We'll know more tomorrow when we have the NFP numbers come out, whether or not how price reacts to that. We won't know until then, right? Because NFP, we have low numbers, so if that comes out, as we should see the indices either rise or just consolidate a little bit, or like make a next rally. However, if this does come out a lot better than they expected, which I do think it's going to, we'll see what happens, right? So yeah, just some things to be keenly aware of. Usually on Fridays with NFP, I wouldn't trade it, but we already have some profits. We have a good amount of cushion to work with. So with that being said, it would be a trade. If it comes along, I'll look to possibly enter onto it and see what we could do. All right, so London session opening just now. We have like 6 minutes or so for the London session. Alright, gold, the same thing, because actually see gold coming down a little bit. Pretty significantly high. We take a comparison here. Right, gold actually peaked right around here in 2020, right? So these are the peaks we could look out for. See what gold does. Are we going to reach all the way up there, back to those peaks? I think gradually we could, but for now, I don't know. I think this could pull back, right? Again, the US dollar is pretty weak, so I'm not really. I'm perplexed on the US dollar position that I should take, right? Like what stance I should take, because I know the fundamentals, I know the reasoning as to why Fed did what it did, in terms of the monetary policy tightening and all of that. But at the same time, markets are just bullying the dollar right now, right? So you want to be on the right side of the fundamentals, but at the same time, not on the wrong side of the technicals, right? Which could be kind of tricky, especially when you take into consideration some of the fundamentals, and markets move with market psychology, and negativity is like the main thing everybody tends towards, firstly, right? So that's why we see the dollar actually, performing so bad despite some good numbers that we do have. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't trade gold, so I'm not particularly bothered by it. But anybody that does trade gold, you just have to be aware of these things coming in, especially if you're looking to actually take a trade setup today into tomorrow, anything like that. You just be aware of these things, right? They have price affected. All right. Yeah, question. I'm in a USD JPY short since. Any thoughts on managing the trade? All right, let's take a look at that. Right, USD JPY short. Okay, since when? What? Since 138.18. 138.18. Alright, so something right there. Oh, that's a really nice trade, right? That's a very nice trade. That's amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Guys, so thoughts on managing this trade, right? So that means you're around 145 pips up, right? I don't know what your risk percentage is. I usually check in percentages rather than pip count. But in terms of managing this trade, right, some things they should be keenly aware of. Again, that US dollar weakness, I would say it's temporary, right? Because again, we have good numbers, we have good reports, right? We have a hawkish Fed. The issue is with the Fed right now is the fears surrounding it is that they're tightening monetary policies too quickly, right? And they keep on increasing the interest rate, because the interest rate that we had, right, that came out as, let's check for this week. Right, so we have the interest rate decision, right? It came out from the previous being 4.5% now to 4.75%, right? And we had Fed Power commented that yes, interest rates could reach all the way to 5%, right? In the next coming decisions, we could see an increase all the way to that 5%, right? That 5% mark, another increase of 25 basis points, right? So the fear is concerning that is that they're increasing rates too far and it becoming more of an economical strain on the economy and the lower class, right? Now, yes, while that is true, it's not too hastily, right? Because it's all in all to keep inflation at bay, right? So with that being said, I do think right now that having such a hawkish stance on the increasing rates is what's causing this negative kind of view on the dollar. However, it's necessary, right? So this is the thing. You understand the fundamental side of it. Interest rates have to increase in order to keep inflation at bay. Inflation is gradually coming down, which is good, and the Fed is doing what they can by increasing rates to help that, right? To hasten that to some extent, but not overly hasten it, right? So they're watching, they're monitoring, and so forth, right? But however, you have rates increasing. It's affecting the working class, lower income households as well, and the fears of recessions are kicking in more so that people can't afford this, that, and whatever, right? So that is the market psychology behind it. So we have the dollar actually seeing that sort of weakness, right? Now come into the charts itself. How do we translate down the chart, right? Now we understand the reasoning for it, right? We understand what it does, what it's meant to do in terms of bringing inflation down. That's good. And the fears behind the dollar weakness is because of, okay, rates probably increasing too fast for them, for everybody else, right? Everybody's concerned about, okay, what if by doing this it leads to something else, right? Some other issue arises, right? So taking all that in perspective, with the yen itself, we could see a continuation, right? We could see a continuing strengthening in the yen. So I do think that this has room to actually go lower, right? To see more bearish movement. So you could hold your trade. I would say to be aware of the levels that are shown here, right? So take a look at the 4 hourly. All right, so we have one level here, this being like the most recent level. So price pushed downwards here on the 4 hour. We had that bearish close out here, right? We pulled down, and now we could possibly see sort of a retracement, right? Right back into this level. Let's go back to the 1 hour here. Right, so we could see sort of a retracement back into this level, right? Now, markets being markets, obviously, it have to have pullbacks in terms of, when you have these large moves, pullbacks are expected. We have areas where, price will come into, we'll see the market rally into, and then a continuation movement if, the fundamentals align, and we could see, a continuation in whatever trend that picked up, right? This being a downside trend, a bearish trend on the US JPY. So price could come back here. You came in right around here. I would say at this point you could take some positions off, right, and look to enter new positions or new opportunities that present themselves, right. While this may continue lower, right, there's a higher probability of that actually happening. I would say don't hold your trade because of that, right? Give yourself more opportunities to enter better positions rather than you're just trying to swing this trade. If you're a swing trader, it's cool, but if you're day trading, you're intraday trading, then you have to know when it's time to just take out some profits. You can leave some running, just move your stops into a decent position into profits. So maybe this would have been like, I don't know where stop loss was located, right? Come on. Oh, okay. 818. All right. Okay. Um. Okay. All right. So I'll check that right now. 818. Right. But either way, right? Either way, you want to take some positioning off of the trade, right? Entity 818. So let me just adjust this here. You've been in this trade for a minute. I wanted to 818. Yes, the JPY. All right. Okay. All right. So even though, right, so you want to take some positioning off of the trade and look for better opportunities to actually re-enter, right? Because you've been in this trade for a while, so take some profits off. You can leave some running if you want. Either you take half off, you leave half running, whatever is you're comfortable with, right? And look for other opportunities to re-enter into this market. Now, in terms of this situation, you could expect that continuation lower, targeting even lower down here, right, at these lows here. So I would say, yeah, just do that. Put your position in, put some, put it at either at break even or lower into profit, which you should, right? Trail those stops and look for another opportunity if price reach into here, right? This would be the next best possible area for you to enter if you're holding long term, right? So once price reaches into here, you look for your setup and you actually look to ride it lower, right? Because even if this does fail, that's like what? Yeah, risk 1%, 2% is okay, right? Because you already took some profits off, you already have a trailing stop, so you have one trade that's in some profits. So losing on this doesn't really affect you overall, right? So yeah, that's just part of, like, I think that's like a suitable risk management towards this, right? Um, good morning, good morning. All right, so yeah, the trade that we in right now, while we're waiting to actually pop in, as soon as it hits here, is the JPY looking to enter right around this area here, right? So as soon as price triggers in, we'll be in the trade. As you can see, we almost got triggered in here. So be careful of that, right? Because price pulled down, we had this bullish push up here, but now we're seeing sort of a rejection from this level, so we may get a continuation lower, right? We may get that continuation lower, obviously. And I would not suggest trying to enter on this candle right now to ride price lower, just because that's more of a riskier thing to do. because right now there's that volatility happening, right? So it would be riskier to try and do that to achieve any profits from price going to the downside. If we do get triggered here early on before the candle closes, or before the candle comes like close to the close, I'll remove my stops and just monitor this position, right? I'm willing to pull this stop loss a little bit further down into like 2% or something like that, overall, just to monitor the trade. However, I'll suggest, if you're going to do that, depending on your risk tolerance, you want to reduce your risk to half. Once price does pull or push bullish above this area, then you re-enter new positions as well, right? So that's just, part of the risk management of this trade if we get triggered in early on here before we come close to the candle close, right? Because at that point price could wick back down and do all sort of weird crap before that, right? Same here in the GBP USD, another possible trade here, looking to enter right above this area. So you had the entry here at 1.23959, right? For price to continue moving higher, once we have the interest rate decision coming out, that's something that you could possibly see, right? The USD being the weaker of the two, so we'll see how this pans out, right? But that's it. That's the trades that we're looking at. But yeah, in terms of back to your question, yeah, take out some, put your stop loss, enter some decent profits, and yeah, just look to re-enter the next possible areas, right? This being one here, or depending on how price moves, right, you could possibly, I don't know, take the trade somewhere right around this area here. As we come to the New York Open, you might see some momentum and price kick back down to the downside, right? So that's a possible trade idea for you there. But yeah, that's about it, right? Yeah, for now we just have to wait and see what markets decide to do overall, right? I do have one position waiting here again for the Euro AED. I want to see how this plays out for the Euro interest rate decisions that we have coming up. This AD USD is still have a position, and this reluctantly holding. Again, this doesn't really affect me because I do have an open stop on it. While I do not suggest trading with open stops without a stop loss, right? Depending on your risk tolerance, is okay, it's whatever. You won't blow your account if this goes all the way against you. But I do have a hard stop right above this area here, right? So right around here, I do have a hard stop. But overall, I'm expecting price to actually pull lower and possibly, see some downside movement. But we'll see. We'll see how this actually pans out, because again, US dollar should show some sort of retracement, and we understand why the US dollar is moving, how it's moving, right? The reasoning behind it. So it's a question of whether the market psychology is going to take hold, or we're going to have the logical, practical traders or the big banks or whoever you want to say is in charge of moving the currency market, have more of a logical approach to it. All right, so we'll see whether investors look to swing to the downside in favor of the US dollar, or we're just going to see a continuation. But at some point we should see some pullbacks, uniform movement of price to continue its trend, whether that's going to be continuing up or just a reversal to continue to the downside. Right, guys? So hopefully that makes sense, right? And yeah, that's it that we have happening. So right now I'm just gonna leave this. We'll see what happens. And yeah, that's it. We don't have much going on besides that. Right, we have a lot of news coming up, right? So just be keenly aware of that. If you're trading, just don't over risk. If you get stopped out of your trade, don't take it on too much. It's markets just doing what markets do. That volatility kick in. Anything could happen, right? So don't beat yourself up if it results into a loss or anything like that. It's just part of the whole experience of trading, right, guys? Right. So if nobody have any questions, We'll see. I want to see how this closes. I'm gonna leave it running. Right on this. I'm gonna see how this candle closes. Most likely, I'm just gonna hold it all the way until we have the interest rate decision, which is coming out at 8 o'clock for me. Right, so we have a good few hours to wait for that. Right, we'll see what price decides to do at that point. Oh. If you guys have any charts you're looking at, feel free to let me know, and we could take a look at it. If I watch crypto at all, um, understand? No, I don't particularly have any interest in the crypto market because honestly, I have more of a practical outlook on crypto, to be honest. In terms of crypto being decentralized, non-regulated and stuff like that, not controlled by any one entity, I don't think moving forward is a practical thing because the world run by governments and stuff, right? You always have some entity behind everything. Having a decentralized currency, I don't think it will really pan well in this growing economy that we have happening right now. Um, yeah, I don't really think it'll pan well in terms of a long-term investment itself. Yeah, I don't really see it working out unless it becomes regulated. Um, so I really have a strong opinion on crypto, whether you should be trading it or not. But for me, in terms of my personal preference, I don't really mess with crypto. Right? Look how Bitcoin fell. Right? We had a very sharp downfall on Bitcoin. Right? As well as the recent whole debacle it had with uh I forget the name of the company, but the guy who lost millions in just like a matter of seconds, right? So all of that happened to us, all right? I can't remember any name right now. It's like at the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember the name. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that whole mess happened, and it had a whole wave of crypto markets crashing and whatnot. So yeah, I don't mess with it. Yes, FTX. Yes. Right. So yeah, I don't mess with it. But trading crypto, I don't see nothing wrong with it really. Yeah. Yep. That guy. I remember seeing on Twitter a picture of the guy and the like, I don't know, his love interest, I don't know. But the girl that looked like she played a part in Harry Potter, no offense. But yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's how you tie up like this, bro. That's wild. um but yeah, no, yeah, that whole mess happened, and I was like, wow, crypto, no, it just, it's like too much of a mess right now. But in terms of like trading it on a day-to-day basis, sure, I can see how that could be profitable. People do make profits off of it. It's, it's like a common thing now that, people trade in crypto. It's was a big wave in 2020, after 20, yeah, up to like just, I don't know, around summer 2022, right? Trading crypto, flipping crypto wallets and stuff like that, right? um but for me, I just, yeah, I don't see it being a good, like, working out profitably for me. And I won't have holdings in crypto either, right? Until it becomes like a mainstream, and like, yeah, you had to do this in order to make a transaction, because everywhere it is now, like everywhere you're accepting crypto. Like, I have to go into Starbucks and they tell me that they're taking payments in crypto and no longer like cash. Then sure, I'll be like, all right, crypto is the thing now. I have to, get more invested into probably trading crypto, sure. But for now, yeah, it's not necessary for me, right? I'm practical like that. Actually, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Alright, take a look at Bitcoin. Take a look at the daily here. Yeah, like, watch where Bitcoin was to where it is now. Bitcoin was all the way up here. Bitcoin was the king, right? All the way up here, where one Bitcoin was worth like 66,000. And it hovered around that 60,000 mark, right? And then it just started falling, right? This was in 2021, and then it just started falling down. For the whole year of last year, Bitcoin just gradually fell lower and lower. And what was part of this now? Imagine you were holding, or you bought somewhere right around here, and now in your portfolio, your Bitcoin is all the way down here, 24K, right? Sure, holding it long term, maybe, we'll see a rise back up on Bitcoin, but I would be really salty if I was holding for like a whole year or something after purchasing it somewhere around here, and then it's all the way back down here when everybody was saying, yeah, crypto is a sure thing. Yeah, no, you're gonna get rich. Yeah, no, it's gonna increase in value. No, crypto can't fail. It's not gonna fall. And what probably is, like, one bad thing to happen again, and this just gonna plummet and reach all the way down to where, what, one Bitcoin is worth 4,000, reach all the way back down to 2,000. Like, imagine that. Because as soon as this, like, if anything remotely bad happens again, and this starts to fall, immediately, as soon as it reach here, what's gonna happen? Everybody starts selling their Bitcoin. Everybody just starts jumping out of this market. Everybody. And what's gonna happen? Price is just gonna fall and fall and fall and continue that fall, right? So this is just, it's on the verge of just one bad news, just one bad thing to happen, and this is just on the verge to keep on plummeting and just continue going down, just all the way down. Now imagine being that one guy, because I know there's a lot of success stories, a lot of people out there who are like Bitcoin millionaires and whatnot. Imagine being a quote unquote self-made Bitcoin millionaire, and this is your holdings right now. From being all the way up here where it was worth, 60,000, king of the hill, the 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 Mongol of Bitcoin, right? The shark. to being right here, to like the mongrel at the bottom of the barrel, because just one person's shitty idea of printing their own coin, using it to hold their own holdings, just plummets and crashes the whole market, the whole crypto market. Like imagine that one person's decision just messes up your whole portfolio as a Bitcoin millionaire. I'll be salty. I'll be really pissed about that. I'll be like so mad, right? And if anything bad happens again, yeah, this is just gonna fall. I mean, I personally, if this actually reaches all the way down here to like 1,000, 4,000, even right here, like even like 10,000 or something, I'll buy. I'll start buying. I'll buy like right here at 10,000 if it falls lower. Yeah, of course I'm gonna buy. If it reaches all the way down, yeah, I'm gonna buy a whole ton of Bitcoin, because I wish I was that one guy who just saw at the point of time when it was like 12 or something. I think it was like 2011 or something like that, when Bitcoin first initially came out, right? I can't remember when did Bitcoin first. I think it was like 2011 or something. Let me see. Let me see. Uh, when so 2009, right? So Bitcoin come out 2009. I think that like 2011 was with like $7 or something like that, right? So I wish I was that one guy who invested in Bitcoin at the point of time when it was like seven something. It was like, oh yeah, look, a coin. Um, told my mom, hey mom, buy like $200. I want $200 in Bitcoin for my birthday or something like that. I wish I was that guy who was like into those things at the point of time. But for me, internet wasn't even a thing. um, nah, lie, we had internet, but it was like it was like real crappy, like the dial-up type of internet, like where a download that will take you like seconds now. Like imagine downloading something that's like 3 GB now in like the matter of seconds would have taken me like a whole 3 days, right? So that's where I was at in terms of like internet speed and accessibility at that point in time. So I didn't know about it, but if I did, I for sure I would have been one of those guys just bought it. I would have sold all my bitcoins at this point. But yeah, pretty salty. I would be very salty if I was you know had all those bitcoins and then it just started plummeting at this point. So yeah, again, coming back to the main thing, yeah, crypto is really not my thing. I don't think it's something I'll be willing to invest in right now as a decentralized like a decentralized currency, right? At the beginning, yeah, it was cool. No one central bank, no one entity controlling it, just a network of computers crunching numbers to keep holding so Bitcoin transactions or whatever. But as you think about it, long term and practical, right? A practical approach, it wouldn't be, yeah, it wouldn't be logical to continue along that line of Bitcoin being how it is, cryptocurrency being how it is, unregulated and stuff like that, right? I think you need the backing of some entity, right? Some centralized entity to make things more stable or stabilize them, right? So yeah, for now that's just, yeah, logically thinking about it long term. Yeah, I think that's just where I'm at right now, practical with it. And who knows, maybe if we achieve world peace and nobody's ever starving again, and we're not fucking up the entire earth, because I mean, I'm not a doom and gloom guy, guys, but I, I like learning things about my environment. And one thing that we're sure about is that it kind of we've been messing up, right? So yeah, with that being said, I don't think world peace is gonna happen anytime soon. But if we do reach the point where things, everybody stop fighting wars and all of that, and we become like one whole entity, right? Then we're gonna have like one centralized currency, right? And if that happens, then shit, Forex not gonna exist anymore because it's one currency worth one of itself, what you're gonna trade it against, right? So long term, this is the idea for you guys. Increasing your portfolio, you should always invest in property investment. That is something that you should always do, whether it's buying land or you're buying like apartment complexes or something. You should save up to do that. So like your first, even like a first starting up, if you're buying a plot of land, do that. Or if you're buying like a little apartment condo, something like that, do that. Right, save up towards that, because that in long term real estate is what's gonna hold you and like give you that generational wealth that you want, right? And instead of like Forex is just like a stepping stone, right? Because you don't know how long this is gonna last. Obviously, it would be here for a long time, but at the same time, right? You don't want this to be your only dependent source of income or anything like that. You want to have multiple incomes. You want to have multiple streams of different things that you could do in order to increase your portfolio. And yeah, passive income is what you want, right? So real estate investment, providing a service or a product, that's something that you could do. If it's like a digital product, that's great. But yeah, or like a service to someone, right? That's something also that I want to do. Like just taking like in the most simplistic of terms, right? Some of the people that would always have jobs, right, or always have work, like people like barbers, for example, because okay, you're always going to the barber, always have to do hair always grows back. You need to trim, you need to be groomed, stuff like that, right? So barbers provide a service, right? And it's like a perpetual sort of income, because you're never gonna run out of customers, right? If you have a good product or a good service to provide, then yeah, it just kind of works for itself. So you don't have to worry about that source of income going anytime soon, right? Same thing with apartments or having a building or land for yourself. You'll always have people wanting to rent. You'll always have tenants, right? So you always have like a source of income that passively comes to you. So just like departing some wisdom onto you guys, right? I know I'm blabbing about and stuff like that, but I know maybe it might help you in the long term to just keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, so we break to the upside here. Nice. But we have 32 minutes on this candle, right? So one thing that I'm going to do, again, like I said, if we actually start pushing up here, one thing I'm gonna do is just pull my stop loss a little bit lower, because again, if we have time for this candle to do a lot of weird shit, right? So price could start pushing here, but then we close bearishly out here, and just we see price reverse entirely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lower my stop loss a little bit. So somewhere right around here, around like a 2% stop loss. Just for now, waiting to see how this candle close, right? If we close within the within this zone, right, within like maybe halfway to stop, or if we come all the way to the stop loss, I'll just take off from the position and just look to re-enter at some other point, right? But yeah, this is it for now. GPUSD, right? So GPUSD actually pulled it up here as well. So if you're actually looking to get into this trade too, again, something you want to be aware of, right, is this, like the entry area right here, right? The entry area is right where we have all these quick rejections. You can see it's a very tight stop. So if you're looking to enter this as well, I would say wait for the candle close, right? If we do get this candle pushing bullishly above all of this mess here, and we get a bullish close above here, then sure, enter. Looking to see that rally continuation with the GDP news coming out, perfect. But yeah, for now, you just have to wait and see how this candle actually closes, right? Because this could close bullishly, or maybe it just leave a wick rejection. Who knows? If it closes bullish, the next candle could close bearish, right? That's just part of the whole trading thing. So you need to be aware of your risk management, how much you're playing on the line here, as well as whether you're comfortable with it or not, and just manage wisely. So yeah, that's just where we at right now. 80 USD. 80 USD. Pulling up a little bit here. Unfortunately, so I'm still expecting this to actually pull back, right? Uh, Prices moving in tandem with each other across the market, so it's expected to see this sort of movement back and forth on the trades themselves. So I'm not too worried about it really, but we'll see. We'll see how everything goes. Right. So if you want, if you're a scalper at this point, you could take your little profits when it reaches back to like 20 pips or so. I don't know what it is that you're doing, right? If price manages to pull up a little bit more, then you could take out at 20 pips or something like that, and then just leave some running if that's your thing. If not, then you just hold it and let price do its thing. Really looking to see whether or not we close bullishly here. Right, so I'm just gonna put my alert halfway to the stop. Right, because at this point, managing the trade, I'm comfortable with the risk, guys. So this is just like risk management for you guys, because I know not everybody have the same risk tolerance as me. If prices manage to pull back all the way maybe to halfway to the stop, then you'll want to take some positioning off just to manage the trade, and then leave the rest running, right? Whether it goes all the way to the stop loss or maybe it continues and goes up, that's great. If it comes all the way to the stop loss, you just let it enter the trade right around the same entry level, right? Because at that point we should see the continuation with price moving higher, right? So yeah, that's about it for trade management right now. See the DXY pull back a little bit here. I just think we should see a continuation with this, to be honest. And let's take a look at USD JPY. You could possibly see that retest and then price continue downwards, especially if we see in the yen across the board moving in tandem with each other. Then yeah, this does seems like a likely scenario to see price pull higher here. Right, move this. Yeah. Price action. Yeah, I love it and hate it at the same time, yes. Let's see. GBP card. Interesting. I'm just gonna leave everything else as is and just let price do its thing. Alright. As you see, price managed to pull up, and now we live in this sort of wick, right? So this is so many things that could happen in the next 30 minutes of that same candle, right? And it's something that you gain from like experience, I guess, from trading one pair consistently. You just understand some of the movements you could expect or see from price, and they don't become a surprise to you, right? They become something within your expectancies. Alright, so if you want, you can start managing the trade and maybe take half off. Like I said, I'm just leaving it as is. Let's do a thing. Whatever it does, doesn't really affect me anyway. But yeah, good risk management practice. If we hit that half mark here, then take half off, leave the rest running. If it stops all the way out, just look to re-enter right at the same positioning, because that means that if we do get this bullish candle, close above the area, right, we should see that continuation movement. Again, we could see a lot of things happening before the news itself, So just be keenly aware of that, because we have like a whole 3 hours and 3 hours and a few minutes, right? 24 minutes. So and again, I'll keep you guys updated once we do any stream. I'll keep you guys updated within the chat about how the trade is going. Yeah, but most likely it'll just be if we get stopped out, then I'll let you guys know if I'm going to re-enter the trade or not. Because I already told you guys the risk management practice to do, right? So that's about it. Do we have much else going on right now? Alright, so I'm probably gonna end it after this candle closes. I'll end it, and yeah, I'll just keep you guys updated. Thank you very much for joining the stream, guys. Really do appreciate your patronage here at TrinFx, and for you getting up so early to join me in this trading session here, right? Really do appreciate it. That being said, leave a like. Feel free to leave a like. Really helps out the channel. Really do appreciate that as well. And yeah, hopefully the Forex gods bless us and gives us a solid win for the day. You know, hopefully they're generous to us. I didn't sacrifice no goats today, but yeah, hopefully they're smiling on us today. And take a look at this. Let's see, reversal of this. I'm not realizing I don't have my what you call it on this. The indicators I usually have taken up my up the bottom portion of my screen. I didn't realize it's not even there. Wow. I don't use it, but I just keep it as a decoration because it does feel so like empty without it there. I didn't even realize it's not even decorated across there anymore. See, watch out, this pulled back, right? Good risk management practice. See, watch out, that candle pulled back here. Hence why we waited for that bullish candle close above this area. Excuse me. Right, just give us more of a solid idea that we're going to see that continuation. Because watch that, price push bullishly here. Then if you want to be that guy, before I miss the move, let me enter for impulse entry and continue moving up. And then whoop, yikes, price just fell all the way back down. Now you're feeling like shit because it started the day on a rough day, right? A rough trade messed up your whole day, your whole positivity that you had flowing going on for the morning, because he was just too trying to enter the trade too preemptively, right? So that's why we need to be aware of these things, the technical sides and the fundamental drivers, right? Technicals. Even though the US dollar is weak, we see that pullback. Why? Because there's a strong rejective resistance zone. Right, hence why if price does push above and actually close bullishly, that holds a lot of significance right there, because then that just shows that all right, buyers really picking up this shit, right? They're really saying, now flick all your sellers, we gonna rise, we're gonna continue moving up, right? So we did get that bullish close above here, or the candle manages to pull back all the way from that 30-minute bearish candle and close it above here, then we're going to see a continuation moving up being more probable, right? Just because of the importance of this level, right? How significant this resistance area is. All right, so just departing some knowledge and you guys, I feel like you guys learn a lot from the live stream, right? And this has been like one of the longer live streams I have hold. So if you guys like this a lot better than just come in and get out, let me know, because yeah, and I changed up my schedule, so like how I sleep and everything, how I operate during the course of the day, so that it doesn't bother me to wake up at these hours to help, come on the charts and stay for a long period of time. So up to you guys. Let me know if you like this stream better than the previous. But yeah. So you're just waiting. Yeah. Let's see this 30-minute candle. Nice. We could call this sort of like a range environment right here, right? Price bouncing in between these areas here. Um. Hmm. It'll be pretty significant if we actually pull above. I might take this trade too. I already have some positions open because I have the AD USD position. I have this position open on AD USD. That's what I'm expecting that pullback here, right? The only reason why I would actually enter on the GBP USD, sorry, for like a bullish entry at that point is because of that fundamental factor that we have coming on in the pound itself that would drive price higher, rather than seeing a full-on reversal all the way down. Um, we could see that bullish movement here. So it depends. It really depends because watch all this candles pulling back right now pretty aggressively, right? So we'll see. So this would be like one of the more riskier setups to actually take right now. Nas XPX pulling up. That's crazy. The indices have been really outperforming this for like the past couple of months really. Because what Rich Bobby was at this one point, this was just the 19th, right, of January. To watch your prices now, that's a really high significant move. And this was a trade that actually was looking to get into. I did get into at one point, right? But then price stopped me out. I didn't look to re-enter just because I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. That's because I don't really trade in the season in the first place. But that kind of salty because it's just that's sore. That really sore. Like if I held this, I actually maintained this. That's crazy. 25% profit from just this in a span of a few days, right? 10, 12, around 14 days. So around like in 2 weeks. That is amazing. That would have been amazing performance. But price has really been moving on the indices, to be honest. So we'll see. Because looking here at the daily, coming into some good areas here. We could actually see price pull even higher, right? So looking back here, this being the okay, and all right, yeah. So gradually, we've been seeing that increase. This being the highest that prices have been um on the indice here at SPX 500. So I really wonder if we could actually see this year price push past that or even reach into those areas. That'll be kind of neat to see. Reset this. And just holding the trades. Alright, so I'm just gonna leave that. I'll be back, guys. I'll be Alright guys, so I'm back. And well, let's say we're closing bullishly here on the GJ. Alright, so we're closing above this area, this zone. So I just think that we should see continuations moving higher up. Next candle, however, do be careful though, because price could pull back. Because what I'm looking at right now here is the fact that price came all the way here initially, right? But we have this pullback. So that is something to be keenly aware of. That price may actually fall a little bit, even lower, and we need to be aware of this resistance zone here, right? So if we do pass this zone more clearer, we'll see that bullish continuation. And yeah, rather than that, you should just leave it as is, let the trade do what it does. And yeah, that's about it. GPUSD price reversed, right? We pulled down a little bit here, so at this point I'm just gonna leave this as is and coming closer to the actual interest rate decision, then look for a possible trade on this. If you want to, you could enter a possible buy setup on this, but for now I'll say just leave it as is. And don't try to you know, don't try to force a trade out of it. All right, 80 USD pulling back nicely here. So I do think that this will start going back in profit in my favor. So I'm just gonna leave it as is for myself. Any members that are holding this with me, then you know we're just gonna continue doing what we're doing. And USD JPY. Oh shit! Look at that. USD JPY. So it came all the way into the into that resistance zone, right? At that point we could have gotten that entry, and now it pulled back, right? So that's crazy. That's real crazy. And this is just show you like where they start to deviate from each other in terms of the JPY pairs. Because look at GJ, right? We could possibly see that bullish continuation again on this candle. We want to see it stay above this area and possibly push even higher, right? So we're gonna leave it as is to do whatever it does. But here on USD JPY, right, we target into this level where we could see some potential sellers step into. We have this nice rejection at that point, and we could possibly see a sell-off, right? Now I am in favor of trading the GJ rather than looking for, you know, the USD JPY. I think we get a clearer movement from that, especially since across the board, once interest rate does increase, the pound itself should see a rise, right, overall across all the cross currencies, right? So I'm more keen on doing that rather than, you know, trading something like USD JPY right now. All right, so GJ, let it do its thing. Everything else, just gonna leave it. We'll see how it works out, see how it pans out. Euro AUD as well. We initially pulled down, but price reverse pulled up now. And coming to the Euro news as well, we should see a bullish push, right? So a lot of different things happening around the same time, right? So yeah, just be keenly aware of that, guys. Thank you for joining me in this trading stream. Really do appreciate it. I'm gonna end the stream here, guys, and I'll keep you guys posted about, you know, the outcome of the trades. So that's it for me. Really do appreciate your patronage. Thank you for joining me. Leave that like, and God bless. Hope everybody have a great trading week. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the London session as well as NFP, right? So we have a lot going on tomorrow as well. So thank you. Do enjoy.